Okay, y'all. So let's get back into the rock. Um, so him being a newly married guy, right? It's a lot of noise out here. It's nice out. I'm just sitting out here enjoying it. So just disregard that. So, he ended up getting married, and he didn't spend time with his new wife, right? This is brand new. Y'all just got married. Why are you calling me? This was what I wanted to know. I wasn't mad, but I needed to know, right? So he ended up coming over, and we went on away, spent some time together, blah, 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 and all this, that, and the third on his wedding night. Now, it was wrong, but I didn't appreciate it, and I didn't want him to be married to her in the first place. But clearly, I couldn't stop it because it definitely happened. You know, it was just all wrong, right? And I know she definitely felt some kind of way. She had to. I know she was wondering, like, well, where is he at? Where is my husband? But clearly, uh, excuse me, clearly, she wasn't going to get an answer or a response from that, blah, 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 whatever. But it's so much before that. Now, let me get into that part. Now, this dude was so bold, y'all, one time. And he asked me to come over. Now, this was before they got married. Asked me to come over to their place, right? And I said, that is too bold, because if this girl comes home and I'm there, whatever happens, she wasn't going to get in trouble for it, because I had no business in that house. You know what I mean? But I was bold. I was leery. But, I went on and did it anyway. It was wrong, and I did not appreciate that part. I didn't even like myself for after the reason, after the fact of that. It was just dirty. It was low down. Okay. Now, I already told you about when she came over to the house and wanted to have that conversation. I told y'all all of that. But he wouldn't stop, and this was before excuse me, like, I stopped messing with him. You gotta think, it was like 7.5 years with this man, right? So ended up going over there. We weren't there that long or whatever. I still shouldn't have been there. And then we ended up leaving, blah, blah, blah. And I never did that again. I do have some kind of moral and some kind of respect at some point. You know what I mean? But that was then. But today, I would never do that. I don't like other women men. Okay? You ain't mine. We ain't going. We ain't doing. It's nothing as far as I'm concerned, right? Okay, so let me give y'all another situation. Now, this is just how crazy I was about this man. It was ridiculous how in love with this man I was, and it had to been just that. I wasn't in my right mind. I couldn't have been. I was young too, and I told y'all he was older than me. So, it's kind of crazy. But we ended up, I think we talked earlier that day, and you know how people always say, okay, well, I'll be over there, blah, 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 or I'll see you in a little bit, or whatever that situation is. I don't know why people feel the need to lie, and you just lying for no reason. It ain't necessary, right? So, anywho, who child? So, anywho, so, I thought something in me just told me this man was not where he was supposed to be. He wasn't where he claimed to be, or none of that. And before I knew it, time is getting away from me. And I was like, now let me see what's happening here. Now, one guy, he was an older guy, but we were really, really tight. And I actually introduced him to my girlfriend. And it's not a major part of the story, but I just got to throw that in there so you can understand this part. So he ended up buying us a car. And I'm pretty sure it was more for her than me. But because we were tight, he bought it to make sure that we were able to get around and all of this, right? So I just knew, everything in me just told me that The Rock was doing something he didn't have any business, okay? And so now I'm on the hunt. I'm on the search. I'm on the run to this man. Where is he at? I got to know. I got to find out. And everything told me, and I was correct, that he was at the mall. He definitely was, because we had some in our neighborhood, and that's where a lot of people went. I didn't, cause yeah, no, but anywho, that's neither here nor there. Okay, so I didn't go, but I felt like he was there. So we ended up going into one, and we had three right on one little strip. Two of them were together. The other one was a little bit separate from those two, but they were just like this from each other. But anyway, on the same little strip. So we went to the first one. His car wasn't there. We went to the next one, and bingo, he was there. Okay. So I'm like, nah, just do the math. Usually, when people are doing something they have no business, they want to get in and out, right? So, I went right on to his car, and I'm like, it was in front of this door, but it could have been the one on that side. It could have been the one on this side. I didn't know. But I knocked on the first door because it was just common sense, right? People want to make a mad dash. You want to hurry up and get in there, do what you're doing, and then you want to come on out without being detected. So I knocked on that door, okay? And who opens it up? It was him. The Rock. Okay. Anywho, he opens the door. I'm like, what are you doing here? And he was like, oh, we just cooling. We just chilling. Nah, you ain't got the door open wide enough for me to see for real what's happening, right? So I politely, and I was very polite because it could have went a few different ways, and I ended up pushing that door open, and I see his buddy, okay? I know he ain't shit. His buddy, and I see two other brides. Here I go, what's happening? And he was like, nothing, shit, we just cooling. You know, you don't smoke, so you ain't doing that. He definitely did drink. Anyway, so I'm like, I asked one girl, I was like, who you here with? She was like, I'm with him. This was the buddy. And then the other one, she was like, girl, we just kicking it. Yeah, I'm going, But I know it could happen. You know, I ain't saying that it was anything other than what I thought, okay? Because you ain't gonna convince me of it. Anywho, so I'm like, I need you to step outside for a minute. So he came on now, we talked, blah, 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 and he went back in there. He told them, listen, I gotta go. Absolutely. Get your ass out of here. What are you doing in here? You know, it wasn't cool. It wasn't okay. That's not a good look, you know, and I know my friend probably was looking like, right. Because, see, that's some stuff that women do, but a lot of times we'd be kicking it for real. Well, back then, because I don't do hotels, okay? Didn't do them for real back then. Anyway, so, but I know women for sure, if we going, and I'm not going to say specifically for, you know, that reason, you just want to kick it for real. You know what I mean? You want to chill, you want to smoke, you want to drink, you want to do whatever you're doing. And then that be the end of that in some cases. At other points, we know that it's absolutely meant to do, which came to do is absolutely meant for that. Okay? So, but anyway, he came out and we ended up leaving. We got to go. Nah, a friend, she was like, girl, you crazy as hell. Absolutely. Okay? That's mine. I don't play with that. I don't play with him, and he ain't gonna play with me. Now, somebody reasonable would have been like, girl, why you just didn't leave him alone? Because you knew he wasn't shit. You knew he was this, he was that, he was hoish, he was blah, 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 blah. Baby, when you in love, you ain't paying no attention to none of that. And I'm talking about against everything you believe in, you still gonna make sense of that situation. Okay? So, anywho, that was that. What else we got? Because there's so much more, believe me, over the course of 7.5 years. Now, it was times that, you know, he thought somebody was trying to talk to me. And, oh my gosh, he lost his shit. Okay? I'm like, first of all, this is exactly what it looks like. Okay? People talking. people going back and forth, people enjoying themselves and having a good time. That's all that it was. See, I ain't got to sneak and creep to have a good time. Okay, I'm not gonna do that. Well, one time I did. One time I absolutely did. I ain't gonna lie. Now that leads me to this situation, right? It's multiple stories within this story, believe me, but I'm gonna make them as short as possible. Now this is gonna be the last one, and then I'm gonna go. So, so the same friend that he was at the hotel with, right? He liked my friend. And I'm talking about he was on her, he was after her for the longest time until finally, she had some conversation with him, right? Now, they called, and I was with Big Handsome, right? I was with Big Handsome, and he was at my house, and we just hanging out, kicking it or whatever, and he ended up going to sleep. Now, me and my friends always was together, but this particular one that his friend, the Rock's friend, liked, she called. She only stayed across the street, directly across the street, so we gonna kick it where we kick it. And she came over, and she was like, "What you got going on?" I'm like, "Nothing, for real." And then the Rock called. So he was like, "What you doing? What you got going on?" I'm like, "I'm just chilling." And he said, he was like, "You want to hang out?" I was like, "Hang out with who?" Hang out with who? And he said, "Oh, well, me and his buddy," he don't need a name, he's not that important. And he was like, "Oh, we just cooling right now, but hell, we want some company, we want to kick it too. Well, girl at?" And I'm like, "She here?" And he was like, "Well, ask her if she want to kick it." I said, "First of all, I haven't even answered if I want to kick it, and plus I had company, but he didn't need to know that." So I was like, it sounded like a good idea at the time, right? So I asked her, she said yeah, and guess what? We slipped out the back door, and we went and we had a good time. We enjoyed ourselves. It was a lot of fun now. We did have some fun, I ain't gonna lie. Okay, so now got to slip back in. Hopefully Big Handsome is still sleeping. He was not. And my cousin was right there in his ear. So I came back through the back, and he was like, he say, "Where you been?" I was like, "Oh, I just stepped out for a minute. I went to the store." And he was like, "I don't see any bags." Well, I don't need bags if I'm only going to get a couple things. And he was like, "So what you get?" Couldn't explain it. Okay, but I did have a pack of squares. I was smoking cigarettes at the time. I had a pack of squares, and it was fresh, so he don't know. I could have been downstairs smoking, and that would have been the reason that I was missing one or two, whatever it was. But however, whatever you come with, I promise it ain't gonna go the way you think it is. It just ain't. Okay, I had an answer for everything, and I had a story for everything. Okay, anywho, that was something. But then he asked me, and this is how I know it came from my cousin. He asked me, he said, you been with the Rock?" And I go, He said, "You sure?" I said, "Yeah." He was like, "Because," and he called my cousin. He called my cousin name. He was like, "Well, he told me that," and I'm looking at him like stool pigeon, because he definitely was. Why do you feel the need to tell this man I'm your blood cousin? Why would you tell on me? Why would you tell him this? Why would you give him any information about anything that got to do with me? Because the show ain't got nothing to do with you. Okay? But it didn't stop him. Anyway, I said, well, I don't know what he thought he saw, but clearly it ain't true. I could talk my way out of anything. Okay? Especially when it was the wrong thing. So, however and whatever, he was like, well, I hope you didn't do that, and I hope you not still messing with him, blah blah blah, because me and him had reconnected after not on no relationship type stuff for real, but he was trying to make his way back. Because we were teenagers. Believe me, when we first got together, we were like what 16, something like that. But anyway, and he was trying to make his way or whatever, but I don't know if I really was going with that because he had some wet kisses and I couldn't stand it. Okay, I couldn't stand it. Now, I like a nice, good kiss. I like a nice French kiss. I like a passionate kiss and all of that. But he had some wet kisses and I couldn't stand it. And I know I couldn't because every time he kissed me, I'm like wiping my mouth. Yeah, I don't need uh your juices on top of mine. Yeah, no, I was good on that. But anywho, so I think he believed me after that. And he didn't say anything else about it, blah blah blah, whatever. So that was the end of that. And you know, he ended up going home at some what did he spend the night? I don't remember. Shit, that was hell back in the early 90s. I have no idea. But we were still cool after that. And then, he ended up finding somebody else or whatever because clearly I wasn't cooperating the way he would have preferred me to. I wasn't. And then, y'all, I'm going to be honest. I have to be honest. I was a player. I'm talking about a huge player back then. I really was. And I'm talking about I had 3 or 4 different people at the same time. Whether I was talking to them, whether I was really interested in them or whatever. But I absolutely had 3 or 4 men at the same time. But let me tell you what the kicker is. I was honest about it. I was absolutely honest. And I made sure that I told people, listen, a fifth guy, he tried to talk to me one day, and I told him, listen, my plate is full. I don't have room for anything or anybody else. He was like, oh, I can handle that. You can, but I'm telling you, I don't have room. I don't have time for that. I'm just not interested in that. He was like, just give me a chance, and then here they come with their favorite line. Well, can I just take you out to dinner or something? Let's just go out and no, no. I ain't got time. But I can handle it though. Well, you probably could, but I'm telling you, I cannot. It's too much. Hell, the ones that I'm dealing with, I don't want to be bothered with their asses. Now, this is what I know. At some point, people gonna be pissed off when you supposed to be with one. Say you got a date. Now, of the 3 or 4, whichever. Anyway, you going on a date, right? And you gonna hang out. This dude gonna come and pick you up at 3 o'clock. Maybe y'all going for a late lunch or something. Gonna come and pick you up. Y'all going for lunch. Now, if you didn't gave yourself some time, be like, okay, I can spend a couple hours, 2 or 3 hours with him, and then I'm gonna go back home. Then you going to see the next one. You going maybe to a movie and this, that, and the third. Now, wouldn't it be a shame if you don't have dinner with this one? I mean, have lunch with this one, and that one won't have dinner. You gonna be fat as hell eating all of this shit. So I'm like. So like that's gonna blow somebody. Somebody gonna be pissed off because you ain't gonna have the time for them, or somebody gonna think they're not getting equal time, and they gonna be mad as hell. Okay, so gotta make a conscious decision. And for me, I stopped doing it because it wasn't fair to people. Being a player comes with a price, and it's not fair to people. You don't want nobody doing you like that. So I stopped. Gotta be honest, y'all. Okay, y'all. Well, this concludes this episode of this story time. And I got a real good one for y'all for the next one. But for now, I'm going to say good night. Y'all have an amazing day tomorrow. Do everything you want to do and some, but be safe doing it. See you for the next story time, y'all. Bye.